older or existing Cioks products, are based on toroidal transformers, which are...
That's a hard word to say.
Yeah.
Say that 10 times.
Toroidal.
Toroidal. What was creating those crazy pitch bends? Oh, it must be the ecosystem.
It's definitely one of these things here.
Yeah. Hey everybody, and welcome to the Pedal Zone, where I'm joined today by my very dear friend and former colleague,
That's true.
Christian Bostel, who now happens to be working at Cioks,
That's right.
the place of infinite power. In Denmark.
Yes.
/ Poland.
/ Poland.
Yeah. And we're here today to talk about your latest product, the DC7.
True.
And before we get into all the nitty-gritty, nerdy details of it all, I would like to preface it all with a little story that begins January 2018 in LA at NAMM. I was walking the floors and I was looking at all the colorful pedals that we have. All the colorful pedals that we have in the world. And when you're surrounded by pedals day in and day out, you sort of get desensitized to it all, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I guess it's the same when we worked at TC, we're constantly surrounded by pedals and it takes a bit to impress you.
Yeah.
So I was walking the floors of NAMM and it's just another drive pedal, another delay.
Oh look, a tube screamer.
Yeah. And then I stumbled upon your booth and I saw your new power supplies. And then I thought to myself, 1, this is freaking awesome. 2, damn, I'm getting old. Because all of a sudden I found power supplies to be infinitely way more interesting and infinitely cooler than all the pedals that were surrounding me at NAMM. It's mainly because of all, the rad new features that the DC7 has. I've been using the DC10 for a long time and it's cool, but it's heavy, it's bulky, and a lot of the outputs on it are pretty low draw. It's around 100.
Yeah, that's correct.
So when I saw this, every output, you can sculpt it to your needs, whatever voltage you need, and they're all super high output, like milliamp ratings.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say we knocked it out of the park milliamp-wise on this one.
Yeah. So this is my segue to you, Christian.
All right.
for you to get into all the nerdy details, because
well, we're not
even though I'm super excited about this product, I know very, very little about all the technical details.
Sure. It's the first product in the product range we call the Future Power Generation, because we will be expanding on this line in the future. But basically what it is, in a nutshell, is that it's got 7 outlets for pedals. Each outlet can be configured to run at either 9, 12, 15 or 18 volts. You select the voltage with the little dip switches here. And each outlet can give you up to 660 milliamps at 9 volts. So you can run some really, really power-hungry pedals off this device if you want to. We've tested it with Kingsley pedals. We've tested it with Effectro. Some of the tube pedals, they draw a lot. We tested it with Eventide, for instance, and we tested it also with the Line 6 HX Effects pedalboard. I believe it's used. Always works with no problem. But apart from these 7 outlets, which is like the main feature, you also get a 5-volt USB outlet, which is kind of cool if let's say you've got your iPad or something connected to it. Yeah. Maybe you're controlling some of your effects via an app or something, or maybe you just got your set list on there, or maybe you just want to charge your phone while you're playing. Who knows? And you get a 24 volt DC output, which can be used to either you can use it with another pedal like a 24 volt, like some of the older electro-harmonics pedals I believe use 24 volts, or you can also use it as sort of an auxiliary output to connect another power supply to it, such as the upcoming Cioks 4 and Cioks 8, which are basically meant as expansion modules for DC8, but it's also compatible with other products in the market as it is right now. But another thing, you mentioned the weight on this thing. It's we wanted to make this thing as low as we possibly could, so it's exactly 1 inch tall, which is 25.4 millimeters, which means it can fit under pretty much any board you can think of. And it weighs 500 grams, 1.1 pound.
I don't know, maybe we can even show them
Yeah.
side by side. Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, well, it's thinner anyway.
Way thinner.
Way thinner. Yeah, it's actually the thinnest one on the market right now.
Is there any like differences technology-wise between the 10 and the 7 as we see it here?
Yeah, absolutely. The Cioks DC10 and pretty much all the, shall we say, older or existing Cioks products are based on toroidal transformers, which are...
That's a hard word to say.
Yeah.
Say that 10 times.
Toroidal.
Toroidal.
Lovely word. And that means that basically the power supplies get bulkier and they get heavier, whereas this one, the new one here, is based on switch mode technology, which allows us to make an insanely powerful little power supply of the very, very low weight and very low height. Traditionally, or the way it's been in the past, let me put it, is that switch mode technology has been considered too noisy to use with pedals.
Okay.
Yep. But we sprinkle some voodoo on it and a bit like magic, and you won't get noise with this thing, definitely.
Another really cool feature with the DC7 is that it's compatible with your new Cioks grip.
Yes, that's right.
Which makes pedalboard mounting so much easier, because with you know all the former power supplies, you had to be drilling into the pedalboard.
That's right.
In order to mount it underneath.
Yeah, or you'd use dual lock Velcro or zip ties or something.
Yeah, but that usually never really lasts.
Nah.
But
And
you come up with a really simple and clever solution here.
We have, and we call it Cioks grip. Don't know if you can actually see this, but what it is it's basically just a little bracket, right, that you bolt onto the power supply using 2 screws. So this allows you to mount the power supply onto a pedal train board simply by just attaching it to the frame, and you insert 2 screws, tighten them, just hand tighten them, and there's your power supply. Super stable, very easy to move in case you feel like moving it for some reason at some point. And you don't have to drill any holes or use any sort of alternative messy methods of getting the unit onto your board. All these LEDs actually have a bit of a function to them. Instead of just telling you plugged something into output number 4, for instance, what these LEDs are telling you is that if they're on and you've connected pedals to them, we're basically telling you everything is running smoothly and perfectly. Everything is balanced, everything is completely at the voltage you've set and the milliamps you've set, no problem. If one of them turns off, basically the LED is telling you, oh, you're overloading the output, or there's a short somewhere. And the main LED here is basically the same thing, but overall for the power supply. If this thing switches off, it means you've exceeded what you can actually do with it. Yeah, you are. And I don't know what you've connected to it, but you somehow managed to max it out. Another thing I think is pretty cool too is if you're a traveling musician, this comes with a universal mains in. So regardless of where you are in the world, if you're in Japan or if you're in the US or in Europe, or you can just plug it in and it works. You don't have to set
You don't
a
need
switch.
any converters?
No, you don't. No, nothing.
Awesome.
You don't even need to set a dip switch or anything. You just plug it in.
Yeah.
It accepts any sort of universal mains input voltage from 90 to 265 volts. So that should get you covered, I think.
Yeah.
Then we've got what we call a load meter here, which shows you how much you're actually loading the unit on. We're going to show you a few examples of you and I trying to set up some effects.
Yeah,
gains
see how
with it.
far we can push it.
Yeah.
This is like the part of the video where we're doing the DC7 stress test.
Yes, we are. I think it's fairly safe to say that we put together a rather ridiculous set of pedals here.
It's definitely not like the most ergonomical to
No,
like
it is-
drag
it is-
around
it-
for
it is.
gigs.
Probably wouldn't want to drag it to your local blues night either. But yeah, like Stefan, like you said, we try to see what we can actually run on DC7. So we'll just walk you through what we've actually got set up here really quick. So
Yeah.
on output number 1, we've got the Polymoon and the Avalanche run. So those two, yeah, on one output, just because we could.
Yeah, and like that's actually like 2 really high-powered pedals with the Avalanche run drawing near to 450, I think.
Yeah, and
the
150.
Polymoon 150. Yeah.
So
yeah.
actually, if we wanted to, we could add another pedal to that particular output because we've got 660 milliamps at 9 volts to choose from. But we're being a bit conservative here today, so we thought we'd just use some of the other outputs. So on output number 2, we've got the EchoSystem and the Tremotron happening.
Boom.
Boom. EchoSystem is at, what, 300 milliamps?
Yeah, it is.
And Tremotron is 250.
Yep.
And output number 3, we got the Pyramid,
Yep.
yeah, and the Mercury 7. And on number 4, output number 4, which is over here, we have the 2-note Slick Clean. And it's actually interesting because DC7 is perfect for this one because it needs 500 milliamps at 12 volts. So we want to get that from DC7. We simply flick the little dip switch here, and then we get precisely that 12 volt DC at 500 milliamps. So that gets its own little outlet.
Like that is one of my favorite parts about the DC7, that it's so, versatile and accommodating for whatever pedals you may have in your setup. You can just like flick one of these tiny dip switches and then it's suddenly a different voltage. A different milliamp output.
Yeah, of course, and you can stack the outputs together for one pedal if you need like 36 volts or something. I don't know if any pedal actually requires that, but you can if somebody should invent a pedal that requires this, we can power it.
Challenge accepted.
And let's see, in output number 5, we've got these 3 drive pedals here, and number 6 is the hologram.
Yeah,
I forget how much that draws, but it's pretty heavy too.
Yeah, I think it's like 200 or 300.
Yeah,
there.
and on number 7 we've got another Avalanche run, pretty much because
just for the heck of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, we tried to pick the most high-powered pedals that I had here in the room,
Yeah.
and it still wasn't enough to break the DC7.
We're not even making it sweat because if you look at the power meter here, which shows you how much you're actually abusing the power supply, we're only around 40% of maximum load now.
Yeah.
So I guess we'd have to buy some more pedals, and
that's clearly the message here,
that's
right?
clearly needed. Absolutely,
we need more. This is not enough. I thought I had enough, but
you don't.
DC7 has proven me wrong. I don't know, just for the heck of it, if we should just try and like
Of course we
turn on the pedals one at a time and see what happens.
Why not?
Like, I'm not.
What's the worst that can happen, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna promise that this is gonna sound awesome. It might, because it's awesome pedals we have going here. Just clean. Fairly in tune and super low noise. Like there's basically nothing.
Nope.
That's incredible. All with the Polymoon.
Avalanche run number 1.
Avalanche run number 1.
How many people see that?
Yeah. So this was simultaneously like the worst and the best idea ever.
Yes! It was fantastic.
I think I've lost my hearing, but we proved the point
Yes,
with
we
it.
So it's a powerful little thing. Total maximum output power is 48 watts for those who are interested, and that is a lot in a power supply of this size here. I mean, we have an ultra low noise level, which is, of course, kind of a handy thing, right?
And that's a good point, because a lot of people, like, they've asked me about my demos, like, why are they so quiet, you know, noise-wise? Like, the noise floor is super quiet. And of course, a lot goes into the sonic equation, like the power situation in your room.
Absolutely.
And your guitar shielding and so forth. But using proper power is so pivotal, and I've been trying to get that message across. And there's actually some very early demos where I use like a very cheap Chinese wall wart, and you can easily hear the hum.
Yeah.
So after that episode, it became clear to me, okay, I need something good.
You're already spending a lot of money on expensive, fancy pedals, right? So
Exactly.
you want to get the absolutely most out of them. So you have to consider the power. I mean...
Yeah,
It
and it's
might-
funny
it might-
because
it might-
it's the last thing people think about, actually.
Yeah, definitely.
And it should be some of the first.
Exactly. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit like buying a Ferrari and then putting, the wrong wheels on it, or putting cart wheels on it. It's just not going to work. It might get you driving, but you're not getting the ultimate out of your car. And if you want to get the absolute maximum out of your pedals, you should use something like this.